No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Boom. Biddly, biddly, biddly boy. Yes, yes, yo. Here we go. There ain't nobody down round here. Get that badger. In and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness. And if you don't know by now, you never knew. If you're watching this, by the time you're watching this, that sounds like, by the time you're watching this, I'll have blown my brains out or something. Like, by the time you're watching this, I'll be dead. Dead. By the time you're watching this, I will have just been on Joe's show, Straight Facts, 6 p.m. So there's no point me plugging it because even though I'm recording this before, we've had this joke before, but this will be the show will be in the future, but it's in my past, and so I'm talking before the show. So I'm not sure where we're going to go with it, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of talk about formations and going forward. So I want to just sort of air my thoughts on post Man City, having digested it on the 1st of December with 13 games in. We are here for 38 games, minus 13 now, so whatever. Can't be bothered trying to do the mental arithmetic right now, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's 28 games left, minus 3 more, 27, 26. So there's 25 more games. I would like to enjoy them to the best of my ability. So as much as I agree with the people that came on my channel the other day and in general on Twitter saying, well, losing 3-2 gives you no points, that is true. But I think it proves, if anything, that the players... I'm not always necessarily certain that this idea that they're playing for the manager, I'd actually go down the Roy Keane route with this, where it's like, I don't think they should be playing for the manager. I think they should be playing for themselves, then for the shirt, then for the manager, then for the whatever. Do you know what I mean? You keep going down from that, then for the fans. You're playing for yourself. You're playing to honour the club indirectly. I don't believe in the side before sell thing that everybody sort of says. I believe in that as me as a person, but I don't think the players do. I don't think they care. Do you know what I mean? I think they care about the self, and in turn, providing they're not chucking it in. Do you know what I mean? That's when it's like, no, you're not bigger than the side. That's when that sort of comes into fruition, in my opinion. They should really just be doing their best for themselves, not giving up on games. But I must say, I do think Saturday proves that there's some fight, and they're still up for the fight, and they're remaining positive. I was worried at the start of the season, like I spoke about at the start of the season, about the character of the players in general. I think the step up, really, everybody bangs on about this step up into the Premier League. No doubt, it's obviously a step up, as it is in any league. If you go step up, I understand the top 5, top 6 clubs in the league are far and away from the 14, 15 beneath them. Possibly that's getting even bigger. The top 8, top 9 are sort of largely away from the bottom 10, bottom 11 clubs every single season. There's a definite pattern arising. But for me, it comes down to character of the players and how much they are dedicated to the fight and not panicking, not getting their head down, not think, that's why I must say the additions of like DCL, Goodmanson, I think gets it. I think Metcher gets it. He seems like a nice, rounded, calm bloke that's played at a decent standard, probably without injuries would have ended up being in a better scenario in general. And obviously my best mate, Longstaff, as additions, I think they're proper ones, proper pros, real ones. I think Goodmanson, gets it done on the field, doesn't he? He charges about enough and stuff. I don't think he's in panic mode. I don't think Longstaff is. I think DCL's been in a lot of relegation battles. He knows what day it is. I think Metcher's a tough bloke. That's why it was good to have them both on there, wasn't it? DCL and Metcher at weekend. Because, they do get about each other and all over it. They know the game. They know how difficult it can be. And then, I just think there have been good additions on that front. Whether or not people enjoy the transfer window that we've had, or think we've had a good transfer window or not, which I know some people say, I just think they're good additions in general. Building on, off top of my head, sort of Ampadu and Struijk, who is a big, tall, physical fella, Rodon. They know what it's like to play at this standard, I believe. Ampadu's obviously had his struggles. Struijk, in a sense, has. Rodon's, this is his first proper good go at it, really, where he's absolutely one at first. Plays on team sheet, isn't he? So I think they're good additions to them 3, really. Then you've got sort of like Dan James, who's a quiet leader. Nonto, who's, I think, got some qualities to him that we need to try and get more out of in general. Not 100% certain on Okafor's character, but as a player, he's doing the things that not that I'm asking of him. bloody hell, lads, we're not going down that way. Like, I'm asking that of Okafor. I'm holding a torch to Okafor's toes to keep running it, keep charging at that right back. That's not what I'm saying by any means. But I just mean, he does the job, doesn't he, of trying to create even when losing the ball. I think Tanaka is brave enough on the ball. So I do think we've got a good nucleus of players. And I do believe that, I think that ultimately is why Joseph ended up going out. He was moaning. Ramazani ends up going out. Farke gets blamed for getting rid of these players, but equally, I mean, they're not having. Everybody's gone pretty quiet on them too in general, aren't they? Because they're not having the best of times at their new clubs on loan, are they? So, which is an interesting thing. I know some people support the players more than they do the fans. Like when Bamford left. Now Bamford said something about Farke. Bamford's suddenly right, and we all like Bamford again. But while he was at the club, nobody wanted him at the club. Ramazani, gets followed around and whatnot. I don't know. It's a weird one, but then well, I won't even bring Aronson up. Pumping the ball long for 45 minutes isn't 3-5-2. I don't know whether I said this on Sunday on my post-match, but that we pump the ball long. That isn't 3-5-2. That is not going to solve our problems going forward. He will revert back to 4-3-3 at the week. On Wednesday against Chelsea, which will be a frightening game. Voice has gone. That's how scared I am of it. Because I think Chelsea are the type of team that they'll probably just turn up and just, do us, really. I genuinely believed we could have beat Man City before the game, and then obviously during the game, I was nearly badly wrong, and then I was nearly right. So it's like, that's how football goes. I also find it interesting, is like a paradox where, like, is the squad now good? So if we're saying that we can change to 3-5-2, and then suddenly, Metch is actually good, and DCL's actually good, and, Longstaff back in middle, Stack, playing Beal. He's Beal good now because everybody said that Beal's no upgrade on Pascal. And now it's like, we need to go 3-5-2. We need to get these players in. So is the squad good or is the squad bad? Is it just a formation thing? And then does it not matter who's in the squad? Any player can come into the squad now because the squad's good now. So it's 3-5-2. Squad's good. Let's go. What's wrong with Farke for not doing it? He will revert back to 4-3-3. And I, for one, don't blame him. I think 3-5-2 is an option. But I think if we set up like that every single week, teams will exploit us just in the same way that 4-3-3 gets exploited down the left-hand side. We will still get exploited in 3-5-2 down the left-hand side, down the right-hand side. Bogle and Goodmanson will have much more of a license to go forward. That will trip us up in the long run. I just think teams, there's too much intelligence floating around in world football to just go, what? They're playing three at the back? What is this witchcraft? It's not inverting wing backs and, bringing play, and where you just think, Jesus, I don't actually know how to handle this. Like, this is brand new. It's like, it really is rinse and repeat with formations. And I know people can obviously suggest that it's built up to be this way. Like the squad that we have is built up to be this way. But 4-3-3 for long portions of many games has really worked for us. First half against Villa worked. Then Unai Emery switched it up. He switched it up and then we struggled. Now, I thought we all agreed that Aston Villa's side was better than our side in general. Again, it comes down to a squad thing. So is it the squad? Was it what was the Farke didn't switch it? I agree during the Villa game in the second half. It was a little bit reactionary. But it was proactive against Man City because we were so bad. Against Villa, we was good. So he hung on in there a little bit, didn't he? Didn't just go to change his mind because he thought, no, the players might be able to ride this out. And we nearly did, And I know nearly's not enough, but, I don't know. He'll go back to 4-3-3 and he'll get pellets for it. If we go to 3-5-2, it might even end up working against Chelsea. And then everybody goes crazy. But equally, we could play 4-3-3 and pick up a result. And nobody will say Farke does well to go back to the 4-3-3. I'm up for you Farke outers. It's totally fine. But truly I am. I don't mind anybody's opinion on Farke being out. That's totally fine. But we have to be fair either side. And some people would argue I'm not fair the other side, where I never really say I'm Farke out. But I'm undecided really about what is best for the club right now. I'm not sure Brendan Rodgers coming in does us any favours. I'm certain that Big Ange comes in and does us no favours. I'm certain of that. So if that, that's what people are talking about, bring Big Ange in. It's like, you want like a worse version of Farke. Like, why would you bring someone worse in than Farke? If you think Farke's bad, why bring in somebody that I know is bad? It's before everybody's eyes. The most unsuccessful manager, you know. But he won a European title, man, against a Man United team that didn't even want to fucking win it. Nobody wanted to win that cup, and he won that, didn't he? I also want to address the fact that everybody's still butthurt about Donnarumma going down. It's gamesmanship. It frustrated me. The officials, however, should not be allowing Pep Guardiola to have a huddle and basically a team talk, a timeout, basketball style. You know, or is it timeout on basketball? Is it timeout? I think it's timeout on basketball. Can you do a timeout on NFL as well? Regardless, it was a timeout. Halftime. The officials should have not allowed the manager huddle, the team talk. But the player going down, however, what can you do about that? How can that be stopped by the officials? You can't. If it's the keeper, they don't go off the pitch for obvious reasons, because then the goals flying in the front and centre, wouldn't they, from, you know, you just be shooting for the 30, 40 seconds that the keeper has to be off the field. So I understand why he can't. That's why he goes down. But everybody arguing whether or not it's time wasting or not. They want time wasting. He was killing the game dead, so that we, you know, any momentum we were building, because we undoubtedly were. We had them on the rocks, as it were. Any momentum that we were building obviously gets stumped when Donnarumma goes down. But you can't stop him going down. What's the ref to do? Go, are you lying, mate? Because can you imagine if there's something wrong with him and he gets done, you know, and there's something genuinely he's hurt himself, and refs telling him to get up and play on? It's just unfeasible. Unfortunately, it's a bit of shithousery, isn't it? And to be honest, it's good work from Donnarumma, isn't it? If we're being honest, you'd want Perry to do that if we were 2-1 up against Man City, wouldn't you? You'd want him to go down and think, right, you know, again, the huddle shouldn't happen. That should be stopped, because that's out of the law of the game of football, isn't it? But a player going down injured, there's not a lot you can do about it. Speaking of injuries, this has gone slightly under the radar, but Dan James is potentially injured. He's got, I think it's his hamstring. There's been a few issues with it at half time, which I don't know whether it'll have forced Farke into the sub. Ultimately, it will have done, but I think he was going to go with bringing Nonto and James off regardless. Be interesting to see, obviously, if Dan James isn't in, what he does down the right-hand side on Wednesday. And can we get Metcher in down that right-hand side if he's playing 4-3-3? I personally think we can. Okafor on the left or Nonto on the left. I don't even mind Nonto on the left really over Okafor for these bigger games, on the basis that he's a little bit more active and he gets back a little bit more and stuff. Stack will be back. Would you put him in? I'm honestly not sure, because I personally think Gruev gets a lot more shit than he deserves, really. I think he's a decent midfielder, and I think he gets about. And in these big games, you want players that'll break it up. Not that Stack don't, but, you know, there was a couple of, I can't remember the game it was. It might have been Fulham, maybe. And he was just, no, Fulham were when Goodmanson headed it in, wasn't it? Can't remember exactly who it was, but he just 5 or 6 yards and he just let the player run with it, and he shot from a long distance. I can't remember that game. Somebody will remind me of it. Definitely an away game, because I was watching it at home or in pub. I can't remember, but I know I went at Ellen Road. And it was a good effort from long range or whatever. You know, Perry probably might have been Darlow. I can't remember. Regardless, you know what I'm saying? Stack, I don't feel like he puts in as much of a shift as Gruev. I think his whole thought process is the holding midfield, and I know Stack is, some people saying he's been played out of position and all this stuff. But what would you do with Stack? Would you bring him back in, or would you stick with Ampadu, Gruev, and Tanaka, which I personally would? I think that's a good 3. And I thought, as I say, Tanaka's brave enough on the ball against Man City the other day. We're obviously at home, so we might have, you know, we'll have the crowds back up a little bit. Chelsea will bring it. Be a good game, be exciting as well. That's why we're here. That's what I'm saying. I'm excited about it. I'm not super excited yet, because it's not Tuesday. On Tuesday, we'll do our excited video, won't we? I honestly had a dream last night that we got battered by Chelsea. Luckily, I can't actually remember the score during the dream. But all I do know is it didn't feel good. But luckily, I can't remember the score. So Man City didn't feel good, did it? Until that second half. So maybe I need to get a good night's sleep tonight, and then, you know, have the second half. Maybe it's the same again, rinse and repeat. But, you know, we get the 3 goals this time. But yeah, I nearly said that's what I think, like Russell Brand does. But that's just what I think. What do you think? So I'm nicking quotes left, right, and centre here. But yeah, take it easy, everybody. I'll be on Joe's in 25 minutes in my time. It'll be 25 minutes in your time also. But if you're watching this video, it will have been an hour ago when I went on Joe's, even though, as I say, it's my future, it's your past. No, it's my future. It's your present. No, it's my past. It's your present. Can't remember. I worked it out last time I did this joke, but I've shammed it up. But yeah, smash a like for us, guys. Cozy on up to that like button, and if you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Leave us a comment, and we'll get some chit chat chonnery going. And now I'm driving down to somewhere near Bristol, I believe. Take it easy, everybody. In a bit. Birthday week, by the way. I got swilled last night. At a party in this room, like. Apologies, JT, for not live streaming it. Maybe I should have live streamed the party. See ya. See you soon.